everyone, and welcome to HR in the Fast Lane. I'm absolutely thrilled that you could join us today, because if you don't know the man to my left, then you absolutely should. This is an individual, Terry Iverson, president of Iverson Company, a company, you guys, that's been around for nearly 100 years. Is that right, Terry?
85.
85 years. I don't know how many businesses you guys come across right now that have really been in business that long. Third generation family business. Mm-hmm. And not only just a family business, but a family business in manufacturing, right?
Correct.
I think Terry and I had the opportunity to meet when we were both speaking on a panel for the Manufacturers Summit for the Schaumburg Business Association. And when this man gave his presentation, I have to tell you, it stunned me and it was powerful. And I had to get to know him better, which is why he's here today. Terry, tell us a little bit more, not only just about Iverson Company, but Champion Now, which is why we're here today.
Okay. Well, Iverson Company has been selling machine tools to the manufacturing sector in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana for 85 years. And as a result, I've called on manufacturing companies all over the Midwest for, now this is my 35th year. So I served on a CTE Foundation board in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I actually wanted to make a difference because manufacturing has been so good to my family. And that's when I founded Champion Now. Champion Now is an acronym. It's the longest acronym you'll ever hear.
Right.
It's
Let's hear it.
Change how advanced manufacturing is perceived in our nation.
And that is just, I mean, say that again.
Change how advanced manufacturing is perceived in our nation.
Tell me when that came to you.
I was on a flight to the CTE Foundation board meeting, and just started writing on a napkin and trying to figure out, you know, what could inspire people to give manufacturing careers a chance.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting because this is such a deep, you know, seated thing for you. It's really meaningful. And it's fascinating to me because I worked in manufacturing for a lot of years, and I really have a good affinity for it as well. Okay. Through the recession, right? You come back, you're looking at this. Many businesses didn't sustain through that time.
Right.
And when we look at all the different things that are coming on the forefront, the skills gaps, the technical skills gaps, right, the things that we know, manufacturing, the topic, that's been on the table since before the recession, right?
Right.
And so it's fascinating when we're talking about skills gaps more nationally now, perhaps, and maybe not even as loud as we should be, right?
Yep.
And I know that's something you're passionate about.
Very much.
Tell us a little bit about how you're targeting the subject matter that you've known about for a long time in your industry, yep, that's now becoming more mainstream, but how you're still focusing it specifically to manufacturing, specifically to people in youth, specifically to the sustainability of something that people don't think happens much in America anymore. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of people have given up, and you know, somewhere someone said that manufacturing isn't in the U.S. anymore, and they said that we're going to be a service-related economy. Mm-hmm. This country, we've been a leader in the world in manufacturing for decades, eons, generations, and we still make close to 20% of the world's goods. And it is true that China does make about 20% of the world's goods as well. But a lot of the different tasks are the mundane, rote, mechanical tasks that have been outsourced. And a counterpart of mine has a movement called reshoring, so that he can bring manufacturing back, because the costs of manufacturing overseas aren't as low as one would think. So with the reshoring effort and bringing more manufacturing back to the U.S., well, you have to have employees and you have to have skilled employees, mm-hmm, to be able to do the manufacturing. So it's a misnomer that we don't do any manufacturing, because we do. Our defense depends on it, our national defense, our research and development, our medical products, and the innovation in this country is some of the best in the world.
It's absolutely just wonderful to hear you say that, because I do think it's kind of a myth buster. A lot of people will just throw around that nothing's made in the United States any longer, and for you to say that, it's really fundamentally just myth busting, I feel. And
we need the workers. We've lost a generation, or maybe even two, mm-hmm, of young people that haven't gone into manufacturing because they don't think there's a need and they don't think there's a career. The average manufacturing worker makes around $77,000 on average. And people don't realize that. They don't realize that there's a good, honorable, well-paying career waiting for them. But you can't just show up and say, here I am. You have to have the skills. And there's a lot of 2-year degrees and certifications that can get you to that. In manufacturers for decades have earn and learn, where You can actually earn and work, but then also go to night school, and manufacturing companies will pay for that because they need the skills.
You're trying to, Terry, excuse me, you're trying to really bring awareness to people about these opportunities at a younger age, right? So you've been working with a lot of schools, working with a lot of colleges as well, and just bringing awareness to the opportunities that come that they may not have really been presented.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of technical, back then, vocational shops in high schools, and those kind of went away in the 80s and 90s and et cetera, and now they're coming back. You know, Project Lead the Way is project-based learning, and a lot of high schools in this country are learning math and science through making things. And it becomes, you know, in my education, I was bored, and because everything was too theoretical for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of young people, I think that's how they are. They want to learn something because they're doing something, not just read about it and just learn it in theory.
Well, and it's funny, you know, when you think about some people who may not realize, never been exposed to manufacturing, not know some of the cool things that come out of manufacturing here in the United States, some of the proprietary things, as you mentioned, things that people get excited about, actually. You know, I've worked for some of these people. And it's truly where they come in and just say, where would you start? I mean, what are some of the things that a person might like to do just from sitting in their chair right now that might draw them to manufacturing?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you're not eating it, or if it's not, something living, everything's made. So when you drive in your car, you get on a plane, you use your iPhone or your cell phone, you use your computer, all these things are manufactured. And people don't even stop to think about it. In our culture in the US, we're not really trained to think that way. In Europe, young people are inspired and challenged early on that if they're good with their hands and they're good in math and science, that they get into an apprenticeship or they get into something that they're passionate about at a very young age. And unfortunately, in our culture, we tell our children to go off to college and figure it out. And you know what? It's too late. There's too much at stake for a young person's career. It's too much money. A lot of families can't afford that luxury. So we need to challenge our young people early in the game at a young age. What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy? Because if you're passionate about it and you enjoy it, you'll be very good at it.
Absolutely, right? You'd be endlessly curious and playing in it, right? Well, and I think you're trying to do something so much larger than even just the local high school or the local college. When you're getting involved on the boards that serve nationally with regards to education, how education frameworks are developed in this country, what are some of the results you're really striving to achieve with Champion now on a national level?
Well, I'm trying to get people to engage. I mean, what my platform, I want it to be a national platform, Champion Now, and I want it to change perceptions about manufacturing. And so it's basically designed to be an advertising program for manufacturing careers. So there's a lot of large corporations that potentially could fund or give money to start the movement and have a higher visibility. But basically, we get into the high schools, we try to educate them and the parents. There's a lot of a culture change that needs to happen in this country. It needs to be honorable, it needs to be cool, and it needs to be understood that it can be productive and profitable to have manufacturing career. And my family's had 3 generations that have been supported on manufacturing careers and supported very well too.
And I think that there's something really to be said about that. With Champion Now, I think when he's talking about business leaders and he's talking about people that have been in manufacturing, larger companies, that's really what Champion Now is doing, is reaching out to any business leader out there, anybody that's in manufacturing, to say, you're sustainable, you have a wonderful business, what can you do to make sure it's sustainable going forward? And Champion Now is all about what that is and connecting those things. How do business leaders find you if they're interested in supporting Champion Now?
Well, we have a website, championnow.org, but as far as my email address, they can reach out to me through email at tiverson@iversonandco.com is the easiest way to reach me. But I think we're trying to inspire the next generation, and there's all sorts of different facets in terms of getting people involved. There's people that can be retrained and follow into a new career. I mean, manufacturing is very automated and very computerized now, and it wasn't always that. And so people's perceptions are 30, 40 years outdated. And we also have to allow the influencers to encourage young people to go into and pursue manufacturing if it excites them.
Right.
But if they don't know it or don't know anything about it, they don't know if it excites them or not.
Just want an equal playing field where at least the opportunities are explored and exposed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If you look into it and it's not for you, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't know about it, that's not okay.
Right.
The manufacturing community has done a very poor job at advocacy for these careers. And so we need to step it up, and we need to tell them that, and it's not, the skill set the gap keeps getting bigger.
Right.
And they talk about the skills gap because the manufacturing is getting that much more automated, it's getting that much more sophisticated and computerized. So you need engineering skills, you need math skills, you need computer skills, you need inspection and metrology skills.
Right.
And so you keep layering these on, and it, you need to really bring your A game in terms of capability and skill set.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I definitely think that it's so nice to just have you on the show today to share this with people. I literally Googled for a speaking engagement about 6 months ago. I went to DC to speak, and I literally pulled up data online with just Google, right? Manufacturing shortages, skill shortages are overblown was the header. Let Terry tell you, that's not true.
No, it's not.
It's not true.
No.
Thank you so much, Terry, for coming on today.
Thank you very
Absolutely
much.
a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Have a great day, everybody.